Welcome to the 2020 Global Peace Film Festival interviews. My name is Kelly Devine. I'm the artistic director. Join me and Nina Strike, the executive director, as we interview Diane Tuck with the film Coastal Requiem. Please be sure to go to the Global Peace Film Festival website to check out this film and all of our other programming by going to peacefilmfest.org. Now let's start the interview.
Hi, Diane. Please tell us about your film.
So Coastal Requiem is a 3-minute short, which I felt was really important to be able to, for me, it was very important to be able to communicate the rising tide that is happening throughout the world and is affecting the dislocation of many, many people throughout the world, including the United States and Bangladesh, Pacific Islands, Chesapeake Bay. I thought it was important to go to different corners of the world to see that it's affecting everybody. It's 3 minutes, which is quite short, in the hopes that I will expand it to a little longer. But it was originally supposed to be at Earth Day, 50th anniversary of Earth Day, and they have a 3-minute limit. So that's why it's 3 minutes. But I think that I kind of covered quite a bit in 3 minutes. It's sort of amazing how much you can cover. And it's, I think, a little different than most shorts because I'm approaching it as an artist. So there's poetry that goes throughout, and the poetry are from haikus that I've written and little snippets that go throughout that I think give a verbal and pictorial view of everything without even seeing the pictures. So that's sort of what it's.
And it is a beautiful film, and your photography.
Thank you.
I think people are really going to, they're really going to be captivated by what you capture and intrigued by it. And
so they're all photographs and drone images that I did when I was there. And again, I'm looking at it more of an artistic rather than just sort of a straight documentary, because there are documentaries on each of these countries. If you look online, you'll find a lot of documentaries of rising tide in each of these countries. But I don't think there's another film that takes into account all of the countries as a whole, as an Earth. And I'm very interested in the Earth as a whole.
And so what attracted you to making this story and particularly to telling it in this way?
Well, through photography, it's all communication, right? So I really want to communicate this subject to the world, and any way I can do it, where the subject of climate change and the horrific things that are happening because of climate change. For me, it's really important to be able to communicate it to the general public. And I think through art, it's a little easier to do that. And so I consider my film sort of an art piece.
And you had mentioned in a previous exchange that you had a science background.
Yes.
So it's interesting that you have the science background, but you're approaching this particular topic through art. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I think that the curiosity that a scientist has about why and if and how, and when you keep on delving into a subject to get to the root of the problem and how are we going to fix it, it's just something that's sort of inside of you if you like science and math. I mean, that's just part of the curiosity. And then I've always been involved with art. So I think that the combination of me being an artist led to me delving into these subjects. And this small film and everything I do, I really do by myself with an assistant. I don't have a crew, I don't have lights and cameramen, and it's just me. And so I've become like a mini journalist because I research where I'm going. I've already set up all my interviews. I know where I'm going to stay. I've done everything that actually a production crew would do on my own. And I think it makes the experience much more personal. People will be much more willing to talk to you if it's just you rather than a whole crew. So I felt that that was a little more personal approach than, as I said, a straight documentary filmmaker would do.
Well, your film is very, it's very lyrical. So it belies the fact that it's basically a one-person crew. It does feel very polished.
Just me, yeah.
Just you. So, when you talk about climate change being, the theme, it's a huge issue and it's hard for most people to kind of get their heads around.
Yeah.
One of the things we try to do with this film festival is, when it comes to issues that can feel impossible to approach, we look for work that will provide either a positive model or some kind of artistic inspiration so that it can help people to find a way in, to not see it just as a problem, but as something that they can possibly affect in a positive way in their life. And that was one of the reasons why I was so attracted to your film. If you wouldn't mind, speaking to your own reaction to that kind of sense of it being a point of inspiration for people.
Right. So it is a problem. Ocean rise is a problem. Climate change is causing the ocean to rise. And I think that a lot of people might not, they see the fires going on. They know that's climate change, that it's hot, and that they can kind of see that. But ocean rise is very, very small, and it doesn't seem to affect everybody because not everybody lives on the water. But I think that by paying attention to this and seeing that people are suffering, and then what's going to happen when, for instance, in Bangladesh, which is really horrific situation. I mean, Bangladesh is basically sea level, and it's basically a delta. And so their erosion has been huge. And I've forgotten, I think there'll be more than 1 million people displaced probably before 2040. And where are they going to go? I mean, we have a problem with refugees right now. Where are these people going to go? What are they going to do? And economically, as a world, how are we going to absorb all of this? So it's a huge issue. I mean, I think climate change is the #1 issue right now. And we really have to face it, and we really have to do things to change what we're doing. We need to get rid of plastics. There's so many things that we really need to do. And it's urgent. It's really urgent. And as much as we can do to provide information to the general public, as I said, that would not normally be aware of this, is very important for me. I was just off the coast of Black Island. They have these 3 beautiful wind generators. And I thought, yes, somebody is paying attention. It's very, very important.
So what is next for you? And this is a little over 3 minutes, this film. Are you expanding this film? And how can our audiences support the work that you're doing?
Right.
Or find more information? And
So before COVID, I was intending to do a few more things with the film and expanding it for next year to make it larger. One of the things I was going to do was to go up to Alaska, where we have a lot of Inuit villages, which are completely crumbling and going into the water, and they've had to move them. And I was going to film them. And I was actually going to go back to Bangladesh and be there during the monsoon. That's July, to actually film what a monsoon looks like in the middle of a monsoon. and go back and to see what has happened in the time that I had left to these areas. While I was doing the film, I also am a photographer, so I have these fantastic photographs of the sea and the land, both aerial and on the ground. And as a photographer, I have a gallery and I show my work. But I also, at this point, gathered the debris that was coming from the ocean in each of these places. And I've made 2 installations and 2 sculptures from the debris that I collected. And I basically sent it all back from Marshall Islands and Kiribati into my studio, from Florida Keys after Hurricane Irma. Everything's in my studio, and Chesapeake Bay. Bangladesh was very interesting. You would think there'd be a lot of debris on the beaches in Bangladesh that are coming from the ocean. It's different than just people just throwing their trash. Actually, hardly any. In fact, almost none. I was at Cox's Bazar, which is the third largest beach in the world, and it's in Bangladesh, and you couldn't find any trash. Because it is such a poor country that everything is recycled. So when I go on these trips, I learn a lot myself, okay? I mean, I learn climate, okay? So most countries in the world are based on agriculture. And when climate changes, their crops have to change. So we interviewed a man who had a small little rice farm. And because of the salinization that's happening, because the ocean's encroaching upon the property, his soil was now salty and he couldn't grow the rice. So then he decided he was going to do a little fish farm. So he did all the little squares and he put fish in there until they would grow, and then he would sell them to another person when they got to be a certain size. Well, it rained sooner than normal and all the fish died because now it was fresh water. So this is just one typical story after another of what happens in the world because of climate. So what's my next? I don't know, I might just keep on going with this. And just see where it leads.
That's a remarkable story, Diane. I mean, to think of the way in which this farmer who he's trying his best. He's being reactive, innovative, enterprising, but you feel so small in hearing a story like that.
Right. I mean, and these are just day-to-day things that happen. I mean, people in Bangladesh, I've really never been. I mean, you don't know anyone that's gone on vacation in Bangladesh because
right.
It's really not a place you would elect to go. I mean, it's really poor and it's really sad. I mean, these people, I interviewed people that were basically living on a thin strip of land, and they have no crops, no food. In order to make any money, they have to take these blue nets and they go into the river and they collect fingerling shrimp. And the fingerling shrimps are about maybe the size of a pinhead. I mean, you can't tell that they're shrimps if you don't know. If they collect 75 of them, they get 75 cents. And then they sell it to a shrimp farmer, if they can get that.
Right.
And that's all the money they have. And it's not like they can go down to the store and buy any groceries. There are no stores, there are no schools, there are no medical facilities. It's just a very awakening experience when you go to these places and you take everything for granted.
Well, and that's why I think it's very important. And I thank you, Diane, for being one of the few people in Bangladesh, because I think it's very difficult sometimes for people when they're trying to conceptualize what climate change can mean, and to conceptualize how we are all in this together. And so stories like yours, I think, are really helpful to people to realize that maybe they are not in their own little corner of the world, not experiencing something that they can directly point to, that they can feel some solidarity with others by hearing these stories and by seeing these effects. And also by seeing that even though these people are being buffeted by these larger forces, they are still maintaining this drive to try and meet each day with purpose and meet each day, to make the most of it. And
that's one reason I also included the United States, because I thought, well, Chesapeake Bay, how beautiful it is. But
right.
There were hundreds of islands that were inhabited at the beginning of the 1900s, and now there are 4.
Right.
And it's becoming smaller and smaller. And Virginia Beach, I think, floods how many times a year? It's a major issue.
That's a huge issue. And we really appreciate you sharing this story. And we will be sure to look out for your future work. On the end slide, we do have your website.
Yeah.
So everyone can see DianeTuff.com. Thank you so much, Diane. Really interesting work. And thank you all for watching this particular interview. Please do go to peacefilmfest.org and search out Coastal Requiem under our watch tab, and you will see it under the short films. It is, while it is 3 minutes long, I think it will have a staying power with you. I think it will be very resonant with anyone who sees it. If you have any questions you'd like to ask Diane yourself, we do have a Google form set up called Submit a Filmmaker Question. That is available on all of our film pages, so please do seek that out in order to ask Diane a question, and we will get that to her. If you are inspired in any way to take action, please fill out our impact survey, which is also another Google form, and we will be getting that out via social media. It's on our film pages. It's our simple form that those of you who have been to the film festival before are well familiar with. You know that it's important to us to hear from you. So please use those forms or talk back to us on social media. The festival starts September 21st. We can't wait to see you all there. Thank you for tuning in.